Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders with Old Man Gaming, and this is a horrible review of Fallout 76. So let's start with everybody's favorite part, the disclaimers. Number one, I'm a house dad. I don't get paid for this. So you might hear my kid in the background, you might hear my dog bark, you might hear me make some sort of awkward silence. I'm not going to go back and edit it because I don't get paid for this. Number two, I don't give score reviews to the games that I review because I believe that video games are the most subjective form of art. I don't believe that scores accurately represent them, so if you're looking for that, you need to go somewhere else. And in addition to that, I don't do a super in-depth technical review. I mean, after all, this is a horrible review. Really, it's just a few hours, maximum 10, that I've played inside the game, so I can give you an everyman's view of the game and whether or not you should give it a try. Okay, that out of the way, let's get right into this. Fallout 76 is a massive multiplayer online experience from Bethesda, and it's become quite infamous in the last year or so. Nobody's going to contend that they didn't botch not only the launch but the game itself, and because I wasn't going to do a review because I wasn't going to purchase the game, but due to their free weekend via E3, I was able to play a little bit, so I decided to do one. Now, in Fallout 76, you play a character that is out of Vault 76, which is supposedly the first opening of any vault ever. You go out into the wasteland and, you do your thing. It's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot to the storyline. I mean, it's very simple. Because of its timing, there is no one in the world, so really all of your NPCs are either holotapes that you find or robots that you talk to, and there might be some other live NPCs later, but I didn't get far enough to meet one. They've also recently launched a Nuclear Winter, their Battle Royale mode, which I also split my time between the main game and this so that I could review both, just to be current on the times. Because of this, I didn't get as much time with Fallout 76's main game as I would have liked. There was another factor, which we're going to talk about in the cons, that kept me from playing as much as I would have liked to. Those accustomed to the VAT system, that has been completely changed because it's online, so you can't pause time for everybody. What it is now is it switches to like an auto hit or miss system, which gives you a percentage, and then should you choose to use it. Another feature of the game, because you're supposed to be going out there and repopulating, is the camp system, which is a system which allows you to place and build your own camp wherever you want in the world. Usually when you get on, you spawn into a world with only about 10 or 12 other people. I didn't notice more than that. And I'm not exactly sure what the max are on the server, but I know for the amount of ground, you don't see people that often, which both is nice and hurts. Now, on the other hand, Nuclear Winter, the Battle Royale, is just that, a Battle Royale. You go in, however, you're competing to become the overseer of a completely different vault. It kind of centers around Vault 51, and you can learn information about Vault 51 by competing in the Battle Royale. So pros. Okay, well, the main story, the pros are, one thing I was expecting, being an online multiplayer-only sort of experience, is a dumbed-down version of the Fallout experience. And I didn't find that here. I felt like the character creator was just as in-depth as it's been previously. I also found that every house or barn or thing I came across had tons of items that I could take and try and figure out what to use them for and break them down for different parts and yada yada yada, which I always loved about Fallout, and Skyrim for that matter. And I think that that's evident here, and I was expecting it not to be, but it is. You interact with the world in very much the same way that you do in Fallout 4. You also don't have to worry about finding a place to build your stuff or use your stuff because of the camp. You really can set it up wherever you know where it is, and you can get to it relatively easily. I also really enjoyed the shooting mechanics. I feel I've played Fallout 3, 4, and this one, and I feel like in Fallout 3 and even 4, even though the shooting mechanics were better, if you're not using VATS, especially later on, then you're not winning. Whereas this one, the shooting, I would never use VATS. And I rather shot just normally, and I liked it. I hit my shots. I was able to use my shooting ability to get farther in the game instead of some sort of role-playing mechanic, which is nice. I always wanted that experience. On the Nuclear Winter side of things, I really enjoyed some of the stuff that they bring to the Battle Royale table, some of the new and creative ideas. Number one, instead of some sort of ship that drops you into the land that you're fighting over, you actually get to see a map for a minute, and you get to pick where you're going to drop. What's even cooler about this is after that minute is up, you got about 30 seconds where you can't change your position, but you can see where everybody else chose to drop, which is really nice because you can decide, oh, I'm too close to a bunch of people. I just need to beeline it out of there when I get into the match, or I need to loot something fast so I could shoot everybody. Stuff like that. I really thought that was a nice, welcomed addition to the Battle Royale genre. In addition to this, when you spawn into the match itself, you're invisible and invincible for a few minutes or until you pick up a weapon, which I can't tell you how cool and how much I've wanted that. I've played a lot of Battle Royales. I would want this feature in everything. This, for me, was Fallout's ping system from Apex Legends. Like, the thing that every Battle Royale should have. It makes it so much better than once out of every 5 games, I spawn in the wrong place and I get shot in the head in my underwear. Like, I love the fact that they give you a chance in this, no matter what. With that, let's switch over to what you're all waiting for, which is the cons. Okay, so on the story side, my big con is there's all this stuff to do, all this freedom, and no real reason to do it. Again, I did not get to play for very long, and that comes from the fact that another con, which I'm about to speak on, I'm going to save that to the end. But in the 2 hours that I did get to play the main story, the missions didn't really drive me towards it. It was really just finding an overseer. And there's no NPCs, there's nobody to talk to, there's no missions, there's no crazy decisions as to whether to nuke a city or not, like in Fallout 3. There's no factions to fight over like in Fallout 4. And what they've said they were going for was like a role-playing experience where the players themselves create this experience. However, they don't spawn in more than like 12 or 20 of them. So I never even met another player while I was in it. And that's okay with me. I often feel like online games are oversaturated with players. It kind of defeats the realism for me. But I'd also rather have some quests or some stories or some NPCs to interact with as well. My other big problem is the camp system. This is a little nitpicky, but I think the camp system is stupid. I think that why couldn't we just put in a mechanic where he sets up a camp? Why does it have to be some sort of weird space-age device? And the camp system is so unrealistic, which, while silly at times, the Fallout can be pretty realistic. And I like that about that. I like the survival aspects to it, whereas this camp system just doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather have like some mechanic where, I just set up this camp. This is my camp, and I can come back to it and come and go. And I'd rather have it be a little bit more permanent. It makes it feel more like my city and whether or not I made a correct decision. I understand why they did it, because they didn't want people to, bomb it all the time and then, you get upset about it. But still, with the lack of amount of people in it, I don't see that would be a super big problem. I also didn't care for the advancement. They just have these perk cards that you unlock as you level up, and I would have much rather had a tree or the old school way of doing things than just these kind of weird cards that you put in like a card game. Like, why even put a card thing to it? Just have it be what it was before. I don't understand why it had to be different. Brings us to the cons on the Nuclear Winter side, and also the big con that I've been leading up to the whole time. Why does this game require 80 gigs of space on my hard drive? You're going to do a free-to-play weekend. It's going to take me one full day of those 3 days to download the freaking thing. I'm not going to get to play it that much. Especially, as I've said before, I'm a house dad. Like, why does it even require 80 gigs? I saw 80 gigs and I was like, ooh, we're going to get upgraded graphics or something. Nope, graphics look the same. In fact, the map isn't bigger than the Fallout 4. There's literally less NPCs inhabiting it and doing stuff. So, and half of the thing is all done through a server anyway, so I don't understand why there's an 80 gig download for this game. I don't understand it. I'm going to tell you something right now. For Battle Royale players, they don't want that. Especially to get Battle Royale players at all, you need to make the thing free to play. Not the whole game, but the Battle Royale itself. That's how Battle Royales work, and that's when they stay around. And you need to make it almost separate from the original game. It needs to just be its own thing, and it's not right now. Right now, it's only available to people who have purchased the game, or, of course, the people who are doing the free trial weekend. And, again, it's in their beta mode. They've said that very, very openly, that I don't even think it's going to stay available to those in the game for very much longer. They're just testing it. But it needs to be free. It needs to be its own thing. And why isn't it? It has a different vault number, for Christ's sakes. It's not even your character from Vault 76. It's literally like a Battle Royale game onto itself, just attached to Fallout 76. And that's silly. Brings me to my final problem of the Battle Royale nuclear winter. And this is the biggest problem, and I don't understand why this is a thing. They don't have any regulation on team size or whether you're playing solo or not. There's a little icon at the bottom that says fill team, yes or no. You can toggle that on or off. I toggled it off, thinking that meant everybody was going to be solo. This is not true. I went into the match. I went into 3 matches, and of those 3 matches, I was killed every time by a group of 3 to 4 players running up on me and murdering me, which really bummed me out because other than that, I really liked the Battle Royale. I was really interested to play it, and I loved some of the setup themes that they were doing, as I spoke about earlier in the pros. So why can't I play solo? I don't understand why there's not a queue up for solo games. Now, maybe this is just part of the demo, and they're going to do that later, and they just expected everybody to come in as teams. But the other thing was you can have a team of 2 and a team of 4. Like, there's no balancing to the amount of people you can have on the teams, and that's insane for Battle Royales. Like, just the most insane thing I've ever heard of. This needs to be fixed immediately. And if it is, and you made this free to play, you might get me to play. Definitely. I'd definitely jump back in and give it a try. Okay, the last thing I want to say is all the bugs that people noticed, I did not find any of them. They've had plenty of time to fix it, though, so I'm sure that a lot of those get bugged out. The other thing was I didn't have as much time to play it because of 80 gigs of downloads, which is a little ridiculous. So, okay, this went a little bit long, but I was doing 2 factions of the game, so hopefully you guys bared with me. Thank you for listening. Again, this is a terrible review. I don't know why you guys listen to these, but I will keep making them as long as you keep viewing them, and you guys seem to keep viewing them, so I'm going to keep making them. So thank you very much. Until next time, you guys have a good day.